Friends, we are very happy to inform you that e-modules are prepared for B.Ed program at Telangana by the School of Education, Osmania University under Pandit Madan Mohan Malaviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching Scheme MHRD New Delhi. It's indeed our pleasure to share with the teacher educators and the prospective teachers and get maximum benefit out of it. It's a first of its attempt by us. We continue to add many more such lessons to share with you all.
Hello friends, I am Reshma Hassan, working as an assistant professor in Princess Dureshawar College of Education, Hyderabad. Today my topic is concept mapping. The main objectives of my lesson are the student teachers will be able to know the meaning of the concept map, they will be able to create a concept map, and they can use a concept map in their teaching learning process and make their teaching more effective and interesting. A simple concept map have been shown here. The main concept here are the trees. From the trees what we get? From trees we get oxygen and wood, and the oxygen is important for humans, plants and animals, while the wood is used to make houses, make the paper or make the furniture. This is a simple concept map by which we can know about it. Now let us start what is concept mapping in education. Generally a concept map is nothing but a visual diagram of a topic that can help you organize and process the information. It is a graphical tool which is used to organize and structure the knowledge. Concepts map begin with the main idea or concept and then branch out into many specific topics. The main idea is broken down into many specific topics. It can also be called as a graphical tool which is used to organize and structure knowledge. When building a concept map, you are often working with the flow of your thoughts, which allows you to have a diagram which move on to the tangents, groups and sort ideas. So therefore a concept map is nothing but a conceptual diagram or a visual diagram that depicts the relationships between the concepts. Now let us know the meaning and definition of it. Generally, as you have understood now, the meaning of it is nothing but a visual representation of the relationships of the different concepts. One of the definition given by Barbara way back in 1988. He said concept mapping is a technique of graphical representation of concepts to show their hierarchical interrelationships. Here on the top the main idea or the main concept will be there, and it is again branched out into so many sub concepts. So this is the main thing about the concept map. Generally, to make our teaching more effective, more understandable and more interesting, we can use a concept map in a teaching learning process, and it is very helpful for teachers to make their teaching more interesting. In the teaching learning process, which is in which the active participation of the learners is needed, it involves or supposed to be the effective method of teaching. Concept mapping is a powerful cognitive strategy. That means it always works with the mind of the person. Whenever a person or a learner is producing a concept map, he uses his main ideas which is coming from his brain, that is called as cognitive strategy, and he designs the instruction for making the teaching learning successful and result oriented. Now the significant features of concept mapping are: it helps to organize and represent knowledge in a meaningful way. It represents the hierarchy of concepts and their relationships. Here the hierarchy of concepts is on the top of the map there will be the main idea, and the main idea is again branched and given the other relationships and other concept or other subtopics. So the relationship between the subtopics or the sub concepts with the main concept is a concept map. It is not just a learning tool but an ideal evaluation tool for educators for measuring the growth of the student and also assessing the student's learning. The concepts map are often represented in circles or boxes. concepts are interrelated together with the well labeled linkages. We will be going to know the other details through the concept maps. What are the different components in the concept map? The phases of concept mapping. There are about 4 phases in concept mapping. Phase 1 is called as the presentation of abstraction. Here the students are presented with a definition or generalization which are linked with their cognitive structure. The student identify the various concepts and sub-concepts and enlist them. Students are asked to provide new and unique examples to answer whether they understand the concept. So therefore, we see the concept maps are not the same for all the learners. They will be having different ideas according to the thinking capacity. Now there are different content variables included in phase 1. First is the kinds of knowledge. Here whether the knowledge to be constructed is declarative, procedural or conditional. Secondly, the nature of knowledge, whether the content knowledge is abstract or concrete. That means whether it is related with the real things or just related with the ideas. Third variable is the structure of knowledge, whether the content or knowledge is structured as in science or mathematics. The fourth variable is the cognitive strategy. In this we have chunking or spatial or bridging multipurpose. The meaning of chunking here is putting an individual pieces of an information set and breaking them down first, then putting them again together to give it a meaning. That is called as chunking. Now spatial or bridging multipurpose. Spatial is nothing but relating the concepts, how each concept is related with each other. That is the spatial. Coming to phase 2, it is called as the propositional phase. The teacher uses the prompts and cues to guide the learner to arrange the concepts hierarchically to the broader or general concepts at the top and less inclusive concepts at the bottom. Giving the whole structure, they look like a pyramid. The phase includes the task variable, that is the nature of the task to be performed by the teacher in teaching the concepts. The various concepts are interlinked logically by using arrow-headed lines. These lines are supplemented by word or phrases which define them and illustrate the meaningful relationship between the various concepts in the map. The whole concept map is viewed as a network of concepts. Selection of teaching or instructional material also comes under the phase 2. Coming to phase 3. Phase 3 is application. The learners apply the knowledge to generate new examples and reflect on the existing ones. Phase 4 is closure. Here the learner summarizes the major ideas involved during the discussion, and therefore we have altogether 4 phases. To summarize, the first phase is presentation of abstraction, phase 2 is propositional phase, phase 3 is application, and phase 4 is closure. Let us find out what are the different kinds of concept maps. There are 3 types of concept maps. The first one is the spider concept map. It is a typographical organizer that is used to investigate and enumerate various aspects of a single theme or topic, helping the student to organize their thoughts. It looks like a spider's web, hence the name spider concept map. In the example, I have taken acids as the main concept here. We see acids as present in vinegar, it is present in orange, it is present in curd, carbonic acid and saliva and Pepsi. When we are going further in the concept map, we see orange has citric acid which is useful to man. The curd has lactic acid which is again useful to man, and then acids are also useful in industries, it is useful to home, it is useful to laboratory. When we see in the industries, it is used for chemical fertilizers, and for at home it is used for as pickle, in the lab it is used as formaldehyde. So, there are different types of uses of acids. Acids, when it is found in ant saliva, it gives it is having formic acid, which is again used in the laboratory as formaldehyde. So, there are many uses, and where it is found, it is given in this map, which just look like a spider's web. Here we see the arrows. In a concept map, the arrows are nothing but they are called as linkages. They may be the lines, they may be the arrows. So, they go and show the further relationship. While on the arrows we are having some words like in, to, are, for. These are called as labels. They are called as labels of the linkages, and they give the correct meaning and the correct relationship between the two concepts related there. So, this was about the spider concept map. The second one is the chain concept map. They illustrate the time, sequence, causal and enabling relationships. Here I have taken the example of a food chain. In a food chain we see generally the producers, consumers, and then the decomposers. Here the producer is a plant which takes its energy from the sun and nutrients from the soil. The energy is present in the plant now. Now, when a grasshopper, which depends on the plants for its food, eats the plants, it have that energy from the plant now. Now, this grasshopper is a herbivore and it is a primary consumer. When the grasshopper is eaten by the frog, the energy from the grasshopper is flowed to the frog, and then the frog eats it and gets that energy, and that energy is again passed to the snake which has eaten the frog now. So, the snake is a carnivore, a tertiary consumer. Snake is eaten by the owl, and the owl gets the energy from snake now. Now, the owl is a carnivore and a tertiary consumer. An owl dies, its body is broken down by the decomposers into many nutrients in the soil, that is again used by the plants for growing and giving energy. So, this is just like a chain, and so this is one of the concept map which is called as a chain concept map. The third concept map is the hierarchy concept map. They organizes concepts from more general to more specific. Label lines with arrows show linkages, and between the concepts they are and how they are related. I have taken one example of animals here. Animals will be on the top, which is a general class, and the animals are again divided into invertebrate and vertebrates. Through the arrows we can show that, and the invertebrates may be having arthropods in them. This group will be having arthropods in them, and some will be cold blooded. Arthropods can be again divided into terrestrial and marine. Some of the animals in terrestrial group can be beetles, flies, and so many. Then in marine animals we can have crabs and lobsters, etc. The vertebrate can be again divided into cold blooded and warm blooded animals. The warm blooded animals may be having in them fur animal, the animals having fur and the animals having feather on their body. Under the fur animals we have so many examples, some like sheep, cats, dogs, etc. While under feathered animals we are having robins, penguins, and many types of birds. Now, let us see what are the uses of concept map. Concept mapping has tremendous use for the learners, for the teachers as well, for the curriculum developers, and also for the evaluators. Let us take first the example for learners. Here it helps the learner, the concept maps helps the learner in meaningful acquisition of the concept. That means they are able to understand the concept very clearly. It helps in providing the visual representation of a particular material. Maybe the material may be complex here, but it can be simplified by giving a concept map about it. Then the learner develops new relationship among concepts, thereby creating the new meaning. Concept maps are will also help the students to summarize the topic during the examination. They enhances the active learning. Concept maps helps in identifying the gap in the learner's knowledge. The learner realizes the role of language played in the exchange of information, and it also promotes reflective thinking in the learners. They also helps in memorizing the content on the part of the learner. Here the students gain complete knowledge of the concept holistically. These were few uses for the learners. Next are the teachers. How the concept maps are also important for the teachers. For the teachers, it helps the teacher in planning a lesson by identifying the key concepts, planning TLM and teaching learning process. It helps the teacher to know whether the learning objectives are achieved or not. So therefore, the construction of the concept mapping acts as an activity prior to a lesson to reveal the previous knowledge of the learners as homework or consolidation or summarize, or to review the lesson as an individual assignment in evaluation. These were a few uses of the teachers. Let us summarize what we have done today. Concept mapping is a powerful assessment tool that you can use to reveal your students' understanding and how they see how concepts are linked together. There is no one correct way of creating a concept map, as it depends on the thinking process of each individual. In this way, a concept map is unique to the individual or group that creates it. You can adapt concept mapping to your class and use it in a number of ways. It is also a useful teaching strategy that you can use to help the students learn through small group work and discussion. However, you decide to use the concept maps, your students will need to be taught how to create a concept map. That is very important. It is worth investing time in doing this, because once students have grasped the principle of concept mapping, it is a very worthwhile and useful technique to use in your teaching. Now for assignment, I have given two questions here. The first one is create a concept map for the topic animal kingdom. The second one is to create a concept map to show the food chain. Thank you. This was the end of the session.